Oh. Okay.
All right, there we go. And then we'll have to promote a bunch.
Mhm.
Okay, so good evening, folks. I apologize for the delay. We had a bit of difficulty connecting to our live stream, but good evening from the forum at Columbia University.
Good evening.
Good evening. I think we're going to still wait a moment to call it to order because we have folks currently in the attendees list who are getting promoted to panelists. So in the absence of an established quorum, I'm going to jump into my chair's report. It has been a busy month, of course, again, with the community board, and there are a number of updates, one of which has been in the press. You may have heard that the state's Office of Emergency Management was looking into the possibility of setting up a field shelter or HERC at Riverbank State Park in the theater and gymnasium. This is something we did not have much prior notice for. I think it took us, I think we only had maybe 3 hours notice.
Yeah, so that is included in the package.
Yes, and so I want to thank all of the board members who were able to run over to Riverbank and make it very clear to the state that this was not a good site. It is not appropriate to welcome refugees and migrants to our community and then place them atop an active sewage treatment plant. It is not appropriate to set them up in gymnasiums where there are not adequate bathroom and shower facilities for them. And so we're very happy that our Assembly member Al Taylor and State Senator Cordell Clare, who cover the area, were able to join and help us deliver that message. We signed on to a letter with Council Member Sean Abreu's office and with Assembly Member Danny O'Donnell's office. We also issued our own letter. So we have worked very hard to make it clear that this is not a good site for refugees and migrants, and that the community in fact has many dormitories where if they were going to place these folks in our neighborhood, it would probably best be done in dormitories where there are adequate bathrooms and rooms for people to sleep. So we will continue to monitor that situation. The Morningside Heights rezoning is slowly inching forward. There is a meeting Thursday between the Council Land Use Division, who is kind of running the process, and the Department of City Planning to confirm the scope of the studies is adequate. And we look forward to seeing that continue to progress. I want to also talk about something that is very interesting that was brought up at this morning's borough board, where the city, back I think almost 10 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, authorized the creation of something called neighborhood support teams that are designed to deploy to neighborhoods with high incidences of quality of life issues and coordinate city services to address those. And the goal is to have them in 3 community districts in each borough. The deadline for a community board or other interested group to apply to get a neighborhood service team from the mayor's office is May 31st. And the goal is that by working with community boards, bids, block associations, and other local stakeholders, issues that need to be resolved with city department attention, like DOT to fill potholes, NYPD traffic for cars that are improperly parked, DEP for noise violations and air pollution issues, etc. All of those can be responded to much more quickly if the agencies are collaborating with local stakeholders who can raise this to the neighborhood support team. This sounds like something very interesting. And I may ask under new business for a sort of general show of hands if this is something that makes sense for Community Board 9. Similarly, we received a briefing from the Office of Cannabis Management where the state in its budget that was passed in Albany recently included new enforcement powers for the Office of Cannabis Management. So under the legislation that legalized cannabis, it was not clear what power the Office of Cannabis Management had to enforce the laws. And so now they have the ability to levy significant fines of up to $25,000 for a first violation and up to $50,000 for subsequent violations for unlicensed sale of cannabis, and the ability to shut down proactively and seek court orders to shut down unlicensed cannabis shops, the authority to inspect them, etc. I think it would make sense if we requested a briefing to our cannabis task force on these new guidelines. But I do want to note that there is a website where you can go to submit complaints about violations of the cannabis law, including unlicensed cannabis shops, which is cannabis.ny.gov/report-an-incident. So that's cannabis.ny.gov/report-an-incident. And we can share that in the chat. The other item of note is that the dormitory authority is the state body that will be selecting locations for licensed cannabis vendors. So it would behoove us to build a relationship, to find a point of contact there, and be very proactive in communicating with them when it comes to appropriate or inappropriate sites for cannabis dispensaries in Community Board 9. I also wanted to note that next month we will be working to have a meeting, preferably an intercommittee meeting, on 1727 Amsterdam Avenue and the proposed redevelopment there by Bowery Residents Committee. This is the site currently of the Emma Bowen Community Health Center, which provides mental health services. It was also, up until recently, the home of Heritage Health and Housing, which provides primary care services. I also want to commend one more time the Cannabis Task Force on a fantastic 420 event, which was held here at the Forum, and was very successful on educating the community about cannabis issues. I just also want to note that many folks are aware that our community has been chosen as one of the pilot communities for the rat-proof containerized trash receptacles. I see some people pumping their fists and cheering in the room. This is a big deal, and this is a good thing. One of the reasons we were chosen, after some pushing from folks, is we have some of the highest complaints of rat sightings and rat issues in the city. We have a good mix of residential and small business areas. And we have a substantial amount of places, including schools, that could benefit from containerized waste receptacles that are meant to be rat-proof. So, very important will be working collaboratively with the Department of Sanitation and the Department of Transportation to site these containers appropriately. These containers go in the roadbed where cars park, so it will entail a loss of some parking spaces. And there will be 10 of them aside from the school-based containers. And so picking where and how these are to be sited is a very important task. We have to be proactive and communicative. And we've in the past tussled with the Department of Transportation about their proposed car share parking spots, and maybe some of those would be better. And one of our objections was that we knew this was coming from some behind the scenes discussions. And so that may be something we want to revisit with the Department of Transportation. But I really encourage you to talk to your neighbors about this. This will replace the piles of bags along the sidewalk that are out 3 days a week for trash pickup. Instead, they will be placed in these large rat-proof containers. This is meant to deprive rats of their food source and discourage them from being in our community. Finally, it's unfortunate, but we have had a spate of contentious questions about liquor licensees in our community. We are working with the Department of Environmental Protection, the State Liquor Authority, and others to address these issues. And then finally, we will have new community board members as of tomorrow, May 19th. So we are excited, as always, to have new folks eager and ready to serve. But I do want to say I am disappointed. We are going to be losing some folks that did reapply. And so if folks see them or, can pass along their gratitude, we will be losing Aurelis Mejia, Tiffany Kahn, Monica Dula, and David Hansel from the board. And so, I would encourage folks to reach out to them and talk to them. I would thank them for their service and request that they stay involved, stay a part of our committee, either through public members or just being an attendee. But if we can get a round of applause for the folks I just mentioned. Joyce, you have your hand up.
No, that actually, I didn't really put my hand up, but although I do have a response to some of the things that you've talked about, but let me first of all clap for our members. It's sad that we're losing two people from Economic Development Committee, and we don't have too many people there. So I'm sad about that, but I don't know how my hand went up. But should I comment about something that I wanted to comment about later on?
I guess I called on you because you have the raise hand function turned on
Yeah.
Zoom.
That was a mistake. But anyway, yes, I wanted to point out about the need for space for the immigrants to ease up the congestion, or to also not take up space like the Riverbank Park. The cities has been reaching out to people who have buildings, apartments, and also churches who are willing to house the immigrants. And I happen to know some people who reached out to the city and say they have empty brownstones and churches that they can offer to the city for the immigrants. So that's helping us to keep River Bank State Park from being turned into inhabitation for them. So.
Right. Well, and I want to clarify in case I wasn't clear before, this is not in opposition to hosting these folks in our neighborhood. This is merely pointing out to the state that Riverbank State Park is a very bad place to do so.
Right.
So the, there are other places, if this is a temporary measure, as the state says, presumably there are some dormitory vacancies in our community that has so many institutions of higher education, and that would be a much more appropriate place to house people, because it is, of course, meant to house people. So I hope that answers your question. Edwin.
So that William County in upstate New York, they declared a state of emergency. And they're saying some state hold off, if they're having a crisis, same thing with the housing. How is we heard anything from the city in regards to how many folks do we have? Because this plan that they have bringing folks to the park, that's in great.
I believe,
and the stress that it brings to the city, so are we reaching a crisis, point? If they are saying, look, we gotta put them in these open spaces. Because then,
so the I believe the number that I last saw was 41,500. Currently in the city, with, I guess, 67,000 arrived, of which 41,500 are still here, and 4,000, I believe, arrived last month or week. 7,000 last week. So there is an end to one of the federal statutes that was being used to hold folks awaiting asylum on the other side of the border with Mexico because of the COVID pandemic. Now that that declaration has ended, more people can legally enter the United States to request asylum because they fear for their lives in their home countries and neighboring countries. And so this is a legal process, but the government has not set up adequate facilities in which to host these people while their claims are being adjudicated, nor have they set up adequate authorizations to work in the interim while their claims are being heard, nor are there adequate public, not defenders, but legal services to help people. I mean, you know, we went through this as a country before in the 70s when we had a bunch of refugees after the Vietnam War and the bombings in Cambodia and Laos, and we had many refugees come over, and the government at various times put them up in National Guard facilities, military bases, coordinated with communities of faith. I mean, we've been here before. We should be able to do this.
You know, the numbers after declaration ended, they didn't pan out to be what they are. Supposedly. I heard today that they're trying to put them in Rikers Island, one of the spaces. But this is a, you know, in the federal government, I hope that we have congressmen folks here present, because to send them to the most expensive city in the world, people in New York City are leaving, New Yorkers. And you send folks here where bacon, egg, and cheese costs $6 to $8. A coffee at a minimum in any other shop is $3. I mean, it's rough for these folks. So it's the board plan and it's affecting, you know, these communities. We welcome them, but then what is the plan for them to enter, you know, and live in one of the most expensive cities in the world?
I can't answer that. We as a community board, you know, can ask that as individuals, and we can urge our federal officials to address this, but it's not something we'll be able to take action on. So I'm going to ask that we kind of close this item on the agenda. Are there any other questions about the items I covered in my chair's report?
Well, one of the things I'll just add is that these people come to New York because they have family and friends in New York, so they're choosing to come to New York.
Right, which is normal. You go where you have social supports. But are there, Senator Claire has joined us and has her hand up. Senator, one moment, let me get you on the big screen.
I just wanted you to know I was here, Barry.
Oh, okay, noted.
Keep talking.
Reverend Caldwell, you have your hand up.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I have a question. I know that New York City is a sanctuary city, but in fact, are there any other sanctuary cities that because we're being overwhelmed by the influx of immigrants, is there a possibility that they can be deferred to other sanctuary cities?
I mean, probably not is the answer. I think that, and some of them do. Of the 60-something thousand people that have come here, only 41,500 remain because the others have probably moved on to better places to be. We are, as we have always been throughout our history, since Europeans colonized New York and pushed out the indigenous Lenape people, we are a waypoint and a welcoming gate for people from around the world who are seeking better lives or to escape bad situations. A large part of this is due to the fact that our federal government has not yet found a way to modernize our immigration system since the very racist laws that it began passing to exclude first Chinese and Asians, and then Eastern Europeans and Blacks and everyone else that the white supremacist government did not want coming to this country. And so we have an aging population as a society, and we have a labor shortage, as our very, very, very low unemployment rate and high inflation will tell you, and a sensible immigration policy and a way to bring people into our country relatively easily and quickly and get them established as working and productive members of society is something that no one appears to want to address in Washington. So there are many, many root causes for this, all of which are above sort of our pay grade as a community board, and I'd ask us to move on from this topic. On the most granular things where we actually can have an impact in terms of which sites in our community might be suitable to host migrants, I would encourage folks to raise with the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the New York State Office of Emergency Management, which is under the Department of Homeland Security. And is there anything unrelated to migrants? Monique?
Actually, no. I wanna
Yeah,
go back to
Ted
my-
here.
Yes, I have my hand up.
Go ahead.
Hold
Ted,
on, Walter,
anybody here,
hold on,
Ted?
hold on. Thank you, Ted. We see that you've joined. Walter has his hand up though, so I'm gonna call on
Oh,
Walter.
sure, by all means.
It's gonna be quick. There's some, like, okay, the Tijan restaurant around the corner from me very rarely uses their outdoor shed. Can no spaces, I mean, since they don't use it, I don't know if they want to keep it and it's really not in great shape. Could those places be used for those garbage disposal bins?
Yes, yes.
Excellent question, Walt.
Excellent question, Walter.
Got
The-
it.
And I think that is something we need to address with DOT, that these unused or poorly maintained sheds are perfect places perhaps to site these containers. And that's why we need to be in the room having this conversation with the uniform, with sanitation and Department of Transportation in the Uniform Services Committee. And again, Councilmember Abreu and Commissioner Tisch from Sanitation will be here at our next general board meeting. But we should prepare for those conversations in Carolyn and Pat's committee, Uniform Services and Transportation. Are there any other questions about my chair's report?
Yes,
Yes, Monique.
so the immigrants, that discussion that we were just having, some communities are being, schools are being used as places where people are being housed. I wanted to ask whether or not that has come up in any sort of discussion, because last week, you know, there are, the park was being scoured as a place without us being informed. And I wanted to know, was there any discussion about any schools in our community board being considered?
That is an excellent question, and it is relevant to us as a community board, so thank you for asking it. I have not heard of any. That is something we should ask our city officials and elected officials about. Deirdre or Shanika, have you heard anything about any of local schools in our area being proposed to be used?
No, Chair, I haven't. This is Deirdre. I haven't.
Okay, but it's an excellent point, Monique, and we should raise it proactively with DOE.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, I was sorry to hear about those who aren't coming back to join us as members. I wish I knew what criteria was being used to select people to be removed, and as well as people coming on board. But certainly, I know we need more people to come on board who will, you know, help us as a community board address the issues that need to be addressed. But I am certainly sorry to see these 4 people not be reappointed.
Yes, and I raised this morning in the borough board meeting. It is a source of particular frustration for me as chair. In the past, the borough president and the council members who collectively do all of these appointments, the major factors have been attendance, you know, a willingness to take on work, to write resolutions, to serve as officers, to take minutes, to canvass the neighborhood, et cetera. Your decorum in meetings, and, you know, the need for various viewpoints to be represented in the community board. the people who were removed and people who were removed last year met or exceeded all of those criteria by any objective standard. I mean, you know, Aurelius Mejia just helped organize the senior resource fair with Walter and Carlton. Tiffany Khan just wrote our resolution about home first at HPD. It was a brilliant resolution, very well done. You know, I think that Anita Chang was serving as secretary when she was not reappointed.
Exactly.
So this is, yes. And so this is a repeat, and David Hansel is a very active and important member of the Economic Development West Harlem Peers Committee, as I have been let know multiple times today and yesterday. And but it's important to note that I as chair and we as officers don't reappoint or have the ability to reappoint members. It is the borough president, and the borough president's staff, for the record, have done an excellent job, but you know, I suspect that some of these decisions were made at the level of the council members. And so, you know, they are the ones to take this up.
So what happens when we inform? I'm 2 minutes on informing the world.
We attempted to inform one of our council members last year. It did not work.
I'm talking about the one I'm going to.
Yes, by absolutely all means, let the council member know.
And
Now,
Monica Dula was one of our
Yes.
attorneys,
yeah,
a very active member of the board.
Yes, yes, and with the health committee.
That's why I'm wondering, in terms of what criteria was used to make these decisions, and how much do we get a chance to weigh in?
we get very little chance to weigh in, and all I would say is you should pose the question about criteria to the council members.
I see.
Barry, you did say when and initially you said that they failed to reapply. That's a difference from not being reappointed.
All of these people reapplied.
No, they were terminated.
Yes.
They weren't told they had to reapply.
No, they did reapply.
And then so with.
And they were- yes. Anyway, so I'm gonna move on from my chair's report. We have established the quorum.
Thank you.
And I'm going to call us to order at 7:05 PM. We just had a very lengthy discussion about many facets of my chair's report, so we are going to move on. Solomon or actually, I have the roll right here. It's easier. So I will call the roll if that's all right with you, and I'll note who's here virtually and who's here in person. Joyce Adewume.
Yeah.
Walter Alexander is here virtually. Jane Arundel
I'm here.
virtually. Miriam Aristi Prayer, she's excused.
No, she isn't.
Is she here?
She's not here.
I think she put in for an excused
She
absence,
did?
like today.
Oh.
Deirdre McIntosh Brown,
I'm present.
Reverend Caldwell,
Here.
Dan Cohen. You were here virtually, Dan, and I saw you. Yeah. Juan Pulmonares.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Carlton Davis. Here you are.
I'm here.
Monica Dula is excused. Ms. Dunn is here in person. Victor Edwards is here in person. Sean Farrow. Sean here? Ugo Torres Fetzko. Hugo. I think he's here virtually, but Lydia Garrison.
I'm here.
Thank you. John Martin Green is excused.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Hansel,
I'm present. I'm present. I'm here.
thank you for being here.
Hi, David.
Hi, everybody.
Daria Hardiman,
Present.
Monique Harden Cordero is here in person. Laquita Henry,
Present.
Alex Hunter. Who's here? Heather Jason,
Present.
Derek Johnson, Dr. Johnson is here virtually, right?
Present.
Yeah. Pat Watler Johnson,
Present.
virtually. Tiffany Khan,
Here, not going anywhere.
good. Ed Kovalev,
Here.
thank you. Tina Lumley is here in person. Arelis Mejia,
Yeah.
I saw her. Arelis? Pick attendees. She was here. We'll come back from Arelis. Ken Miles. Signe Mortensen is here in person. Michael Palma. Solomon Prophet is here virtually. Carolina Ramirez. Patricia Ramos. Annette Robinson is here in person. Reverend Morgan Thomas. Oh, Reverend Morgan Thomas running late. Jonathan Senegal excused. Jonathan Thomas. Carolyn Thompson is here in person. Dr. Torres is here in person. Liz Whiteakis.
Here.
Virtually. Gary Weinberg is here in person. And Shanika Wilson is running late, or is she here? She had the event, the education event. All right, we are expecting her, but by my count, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 people virtually, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people here in person, and 9 out of 45, I think is what we were at. Is
Yes, a 30,
pardon?
33.
But 24, but okay.
15 and 9, 24 and 9, 33.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Or no, wait, I just counted them again. We have a quorum. Someone can count the roster for me if they'd like. All right, so the meeting was called to order at 7:05. A motion to adopt the agenda would be in order. The only amendment that I am aware of at the moment is under new business. We will discuss the neighborhood support service team.
So moved, Deirdre.
Moved by
Back
member
up.
Second, Ted.
seconded by Laquita Henry. All those in favor of adopting the agenda say aye.
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 All right, the next item of business is to adopt the minutes.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor of adopting the minutes, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the minutes have been adopted. All right, we will move on now to item number 4, a presentation on 1763 Amsterdam Avenue given by Saba Vakdat and Mujan Vakdat of Elmo Realty. And also present with us are Elder Kevin Christopher from Child's Memorial Tabernacle Church of God and Robert Cornegie.
So, good evening. I'd like to kind of give some context for my presence here and kind of kick off this presentation. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. We hear you.
So again, thank you so much for allowing me a pass from Brooklyn to Manhattan to make this presentation. I am the former council member who represented Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights and the former chair of Housing and Buildings. And my presence here kind of represents my commitment to highlighting when there are developers who are responsible and do good work and basically do what they say. The VDOTs have developed in my district as the council member, and did a really good job in incorporating their project into the already existing, not only architectural landscape, but the culture that already existed in the community. And I wanted to be their presence in the district, their ability to develop responsibly in communities like ours. I have a very similar demographic, as you could imagine, in the Bedford-Stuyvesant community. So thank you for allowing me to be here. And I will answer any questions as it relates to my relationship with the VDOTs and their development in my district, if that's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, I'm Elder Kevin Christopher from Child Memorial Temple, Church of God in Christ. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, very good, thank you. All right, so I'm here to speak a little bit from the historical context of the church. We've been in the community since 1958, and we have a long history of community service, from boys clubs, from soup kitchens, from after-school programs, childcare, daycare, and at one point we had a school program. And so, over time, the building became deteriorated. And so, here we are where we're in the process of trying to get a new building where we are in support of the developer, Mr. Devat and Mrs. Devat, building a shelter. The church is in support of it because it's within the purview.
Elder
I'm
Christopher,
sorry, I
you
don't
have.
know what happened.
Yep.
Hear you.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what happened. But okay, it's within the church's purview to help all those that are, falling on hard times. So we're in full support. And in fact, the church, in the past, we have held in our facility other organizations that have supported homeless shelters, but the church now has developed its own CDC to work directly with this shelter that we will be working with them to help. Because after speaking with Mr. Weinberg, we understood the community's concerns. And so to help alleviate some of the burden, some of the issues with the lack of permanency. So we created the Bishop Quick Multi-Service Center, which would help to provide needed services for those individuals so that they could begin to build their lives, rebuild their lives, depending on what circumstances led them to be in the shelter, so where they will begin to receive the services that they need so that they can find permanent housing. We know that that is a major goal of this board, which we do support. So we're hoping that you will continue to support us. As we said, we've been a major member in the community. And as of right now, we're kind of homeless because we're in a temporary location because of the situation. And we're not able to do what we have done the last 50 years until the development project is complete. Like right now, where we used to do soup kitchens and feed and on a regular basis, we can only do that once a month now. We're limited because of the space and the location that we're currently in. So, we would like to get back to serving the community at full capacity in which we are accustomed to. So thank you, and I'm available for any questions as they continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Christopher. I think we can.
I have a question.
Uh,
Of the elder.
For the church, Reverend Caldwell, you have a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Elder, my question is directed to you. Thank you for speaking so eloquently. I'd like to know in what capacity will these developers be of assistance to the rebuilding of your church? Or what?
I think we're going to get to that.
Oh, am I jumping ahead?
You are, and I apologize for the confusion. I did not realize that Senator Claire had a hard out. With the VDOT and with the VDOT's, acquiescence and permission, would you mind terribly if we just heard from the state senator before she leaves?
Certainly.
Thank you. Senator Claire, I'm going to give you the floor before you have to go.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm really sorry. I just wanted to come say hello and really thank Community Board 9 for showing up with me at Riverbank State Park last week to let them know in no uncertain terms it's not the right place for them to bring our new neighbors. And though we welcome them, we just cannot do it at the expense of the services and the resources to the children and the families of this community. This was just not appropriate. And I also followed up with a letter to the governor, letting her know that as well as bringing it up in the Senate in conference, especially when I read in the papers that they had begun placing them in public schools, and just trying to get ahead of it as that we have a more open line of communication when these matters are being decided on or even considered. So that was very important that you were there, and I appreciate you all for being there with me. And I'm glad I was able to be there with you to make that clear to our governor. I just want to, if you don't mind, Barry, I wanted to just acknowledge the passing of our former council member and someone who I adored and respected and worked for 19 years as his chief of staff, Bill Perkins. It is a huge loss to our community, to all of us and those who knew him. So I did want to just raise his name up. And as far as Riverbank, we don't want any other kind of NIMBY situations because we know it's difficult, but they got to figure it out and not at our loss all the time. And I know there's been conversations about moving to other state properties in the district as far as the state is concerned. But there's a conversation also about us maybe putting much more pressure on the federal government to help us with this problem, because it is, though New York City is a sanctuary city and we're proud of that. And mainly what that means is that we're a city that will not report people to ICE that are here trying to get a new life. We will not do that to people, and I don't, I hope that we are living up to that promise, but we also need resources and we need funding to make sure that we're able to function as a city and as a state, and also take in these people that are seeking refuge in our city. I wanted to give you an update on the budget. I think some of you I've spoken to in different places. I wasn't happy with everything, but some of the highlights that I'm very happy about was that this is a historical win for us in terms of the foundation aid, which was as a result of the decades-long fight, the Campaign for Fiscal Equity. Many of you know former council member and now Senator Robert Jackson, who fought all those years ago, and many community board members such as myself and others who followed his leadership, fought for that foundation aid, and other administrations and governors did not pay it. I am proud that I am part of the body who has paid the most money that we've ever given to our schools. $34 billion was secured in the budget this year. That is a great, great win for our well-deserving New York City students. Foundation aid is a 4-part formula, and it takes into the account the cost of educating a student, differing levels of student needs, different costs living across the state, and the varying funding capacities of different districts. This is a significant boost for our public school system in New York City, and I'm very proud of it and very proud of the work that we were able to do. We also had a very difficult struggle with the resurrection of what are called zombie charter schools. There were 22 charters that for schools that have been closed across the state. The governor was proposing to put those 22 charters in New York City. Many of us felt this was very unfair because only 14 of them were closed in New York City. 8 of them were from outside of New York City, but basically the cap is nowhere near reached in other parts of the state. And it is very attractive to try to place them in the city that has children, that has more children. So we were able to stave off the 14, we staved off the 8 and 14 are allowed. However, in District 5, there is an oversaturation. We are at 57%. It has caused many co-location and other issues. This is not about what people prefer and what, but now we are actually in a place where we have decreasing choice, where there are less public schools and traditional public schools. We don't want that. There are many of us who believe in public school education. I was a school board member for 10 years and the community education president and member for 4 more years after that. And I spent a lot of time in our public schools. I have faith in our children. I have faith in that system. It is a great system as long as we fund it properly, as we just did, and give it the resources and attention that it needs. So we were able to, I guess the governor and the leadership heard my voice and said, please, we can't have any more in District 5. So zombies will be able to come to New York City, but they will not be able to be placed in District 5. So that was, it's bittersweet for me, because I think that we have to spend more of our time building the public school system, the traditional public school system, and not taking resources and placing them somewhere. I'm not against choice, but I believe in our public school system. And healthcare, we were able to strengthen our distressed providers and hospitals. This budget allocates $500 million and additional support and financial aid for distressed providers, and which is a much needed lifeline to our safety net hospitals, like a Harlem hospital, which was a hospital that absorbed so much during the pandemic and beyond. And we really needed to boost them, give them a shot in the arm, if you will, forgive the pride, but we were able to win $500 million towards that. And we also reserved $35 million to support our 340B funded entities, which we have several in our community that need that funding. We also revitalized Medicaid. We adopted a $1 billion in healthcare capital funding and expanded Medicaid coverage for more than 7.8 million low-income New Yorkers, including a significant rate increase of 7.5% Medicaid reimbursement for inpatient hospital services and 6.5% for out-of-patient hospital services, nursing homes, and other providers. Nursing homes was of particular importance to me with this Medicaid reimbursement. They really need this money. All of the system needs the money. We wanted to get more. We didn't get as much as we wanted, but this is more than it has been. I'm going to keep on fighting until we get a more comparable percentage increase, which is what's necessary. I'm not going to do too much more because I have a lot that I can tell you about. We're going to have a state of the district coming up shortly after session ends, which is roughly in about another 3 weeks. So when we come out of session, I will be able to report fully on what has happened during this budget process. But I wanted to just make sure everyone knew that I'm very proud to represent you, very proud of chair of the Aging Committee. We are having we're going to celebrate Older Adults Day on May 25th. That's coming up this week at the Jackie Robinson Older Adult Center on Amsterdam Avenue, 1301 Amsterdam Avenue. I'm going to send the information to you, Barry, and you can get it out to everyone. I also I chair the Aging Committee, but I sit on the committee's banks, Cities One, which is basically New York City. There's a Cities One that's New York City, and Cities Two, which is all the cities other than New York City in the state. I sit on Cities One. I also sit on Cultural Affairs, Tourism, Parks and Recreation. I sit on Education. I sit on Housing, Construction and Community Development, and on Social Services, on the Social Services Committee. So like I said, I don't want to take up much of your time, but I wanted to come before you, and this is one of the rare days that I got into New York City in time to make your meeting. And I just wanted to come on and say hello, and I thank you so much again for your support and your hard work.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we're always very grateful to have you here. We don't hold it against our state senators and state assembly members when they're in Albany doing the job that we elected them to do. So, but we're always happy to see you. I see Juan Colmenares and then Walter Alexander have their hands up for the state senator. Juan, go ahead, you have the floor.
Cordell, Senator, I thank you for allowing me to be part of this community board. That's the first thing. The second thing is I met you briefly, and I thank you for supporting us and representing us. I think also we need to educate the public, and I would love it if you can send it back to Albany, that we need to level the playing field. I, as a high school teacher, have to teach anybody who walks into my classroom. Again, as a high school teacher in a public school, I have to teach anyone who walks into my classroom. Why charter schools not required to do the same? We need to change the law. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you're doing for me and for us.
Thank you, Juan. That's a great. We're looking at legislation to address just that. It is unfair. It is not fair that one school does not have to take English language learners. They don't have to take special education students. They can counsel people out when they don't fit in. That's not fair. And those children, by the way, when that happens, when a charter school decides that we no longer want this child because they don't fit in our mold, the public school then has to take those children. We have to receive those children, but the funding doesn't follow. The funding stays with the charter. And so you're right. You bring up a very good point, and we have to look at legislation now and go after this and level the playing field because we didn't have this fight and get all these things that we got just to have it taken away and for people who only want to educate a certain group of children. We need help more than ever. We have a lot of our students, as was discussed before, we have our migrant children here now. We need dual language. We need bilingual. We need people to teach all of our children. So this is not, it's a very serious situation. And now that we've got funding for our public schools, we want to fight to make sure these rules are fair and that we are all doing what we're supposed to do for New York City's children. So thank you, and thank you to everyone that continues in this fight. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Claire. And I will observe in CB9, we have at least one instance that's interesting of charters that are co-located with each other, fighting each other for space. Walter, and then we will move back to the Vedants. I know the Senator has to run.
Good evening, Senator. This is Walter T. Alexander. I am the co-chair of the Senior Issues Committee. I met with you at some point last year, one of your conferences on Barnard's campus. Yes. And I got a commitment for you to come speak to our committee, which meets Tuesdays at 11 o'clock, 11 to 12:30. Listen, I'm listening to you. I really like your dedication to the community, but I also have to make sure on the other end, the children are important, but so are our seniors. I am also a member of your aging committee. I'm on the policy committee because that's my thing, love policy. But if you cannot make it, maybe Aziz can make it for our June meeting. Okay. And just to speak about what you're getting ready to do, I think the seniors would love to hear it. And I will be at your senior day in May 25th. Thank you for your dedication.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to meet you in person again.
For sure, for sure. And that's really the troubling thing for me. That's the worst part of me being in the Senate is because I'm in Albany so much. But in the next few weeks, session will end, which means I'll be here until January for the most part, unless they call like a special session, but that'll only be like, maybe a week or a couple of days. It won't be like it has been where I'm up there a good portion of the week. These weeks, this week I'm coming home tonight. So I'm 4 days, 3 days, 4 days. I spend a lot of time up there But I would love to get over there, and I thank you for the invitation, and I will ask Aziz to go to your next meeting. Just keep letting us know where it is, or Anthony Gray, actually, because he does do Board 9 for me. And I'm looking forward to us seeing each other. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support, and thank you, Barry.
Of course. Thank you, Senator. We always love having you, and we also appreciate your staff who tirelessly serve and show up to our these meetings when you can't make it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more question for you if you have a moment.
Sure.
Carolyn, what?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The question was, what happens to the charter schools located in schools that don't pay rent to the city?
No, I can't hear. I didn't hear that, Barry.
What happens to the charter schools located in public school buildings that don't pay rent to the city?
Yeah, nothing, sadly. And that was another great concern of mine, because in a horrendous deal made with our former governor and mayor and former mayor Bloomberg of this city, New York City is the only municipality in New York State who, when a charter cannot be in a public school, we have to pay their rent. You know, we have to pay their rent, and this is not right. It's not fair. It's inequitable. So these are laws that we're trying to change. You know, this deal was made and no other municipality has to do that, only New York City. And this was something I spoke about on the Senate floor, spoke against. But in this case, I did speak against it, but when I raised it, our governor said that they would put in the money to pay for these zombie charters. I don't feel good about that because I need that $1.4 billion for something else. You know, we need other things. And the city, I mean, I'm glad that New York City won't have to bear the burden of doing that, and the state stepped in, but the state has other things that we could be doing, like housing.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for answering that last question, and thanks. We got to move on, Edwin. But we look forward to seeing you again, maybe more in the fall when we have you back here in the city full time.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, now we will return to the question of 1763 Amsterdam Avenue and the presentation by the Vedats.
Saba, please jump in anytime you want to. Hi, my name is Mujan Baghdad, and I like to thank Council Member Cornegie and the Elder for their presence here. We purchased a property at 1763 Amsterdam Avenue, which was a former church of a child memorial. And the deal with the church is that we will build and furnish 10,000 square feet, almost 10,000, 9,000 somewhat square feet for the church on the ground floor and the cellar floor. And there is going to be a connection between the ground and cellar, both with stairs and an elevator. And we will furnish it as we are contractually obligated to them. We would like to build the church. It is important to us. They've been a great partner. Originally, we had in mind to build an affordable housing on this site. And we entered into a contract with an affordable housing group. Unfortunately, the New York State Attorney General's office got involved, and that deal was dead. The Attorney General's office is no longer involved. They have set up a timeline for us to build the church and the air rights for the church. And that timeline is very short. We have met with the community board members twice already. And we would like to be good neighbors. We would like to make sure we are transparent and help as much as possible. We are looking to build a family homeless shelter. The community board was concerned about the size of units and a few other things. We have dealt with the size of units, and we are putting in 9 two-bedroom apartments and 113 studios, and plus the church, plus community facility for the operator of the homeless shelter. We are also, in order to add value to what we want to do, we will take 2 steps. One is that we own a building, I own a building at 1793 Amsterdam Avenue, which is 1 block away from 1763. That building, we will make it into a AMI of 80% for the next 20 years. Right now it's at AMI of 140%. So it is going to be affordable as more people move out. And also we are placing a $250,000 community
benefits.
Community benefits, thank you, Sabat. Community benefits, which the community board 9 will have direct say of how they can help. They can use that money to help the community. So am I missing anything?
Sure. I'm Sabai Mujan's daughter. Just a little bit about us. My father's been working in the Harlem community for the past 35 years, and I've worked for my father for the past 8 years. Just to add a few points to the background of the property, although we purchased the site at 1763 Amsterdam Avenue from Child's Memorial Temple Church of God in Christ, and will be rebuilding the church. We are condoing and deeding the church their own condominium. So the church will retain ownership of their site, which has been very important to us when working with the church. And for the studios that Mujan referred to, we worked closely with the community board to increase the sizes, not only increase the 2-bedroom count, but also increase the sizes of the studio units to fit more comfortably a woman plus 1 child, or a woman who is expecting, which is the population for the shelter, the proposed shelter at this site. We are here to answer any questions, and we are grateful to be in front of the full community board. As Mujan referenced, we have spoken to the community board in different subcommittees, and we are grateful to be here tonight.
And
if I could just add, I'm sorry. The history of this project goes back many years. So while it may sound like it's a new project, it's not. The history of this project goes back several years, and I just want to be clear on that.
It goes back to 2016. This has been many years in the making. It has been heartbreaking at times. We have contracted with an affordable housing developer to build affordable housing, and the Attorney General's office said no. Put us on a 2-year expedited timeline that the property must be developed within 2 years, which does not give the opportunity to now go and find another affordable housing developer. This is really the only viable solution that we have to build the property. We have built homeless shelters before and have been working with various community boards when we do it for their input, because we like to work with the community board.
So if I can just add some clarity to what Saba and Mr. Carnegie said. For those who weren't here or who don't remember, in I think January of 2017, when Padmore John was chair and when April and Signe were co-chairs of the Housing, Zoning and Land Use Committee, Urban Resources Institute and the church and the Department of Homeless Services came before our board to present a proposal at this site for, I want to say 138 units of studio, maybe more, 146 maybe, of studio units for homeless families with children. And we were very unhappy with that plan. We thought that the studio units were too small. We thought that there needed to be larger units besides studios. And we wanted affordable housing. We did not want a homeless shelter. We then embarked on long-term negotiations with the Vedots and the church. We eventually found an excellent, fantastic developer of affordable housing who was willing to take on the project. And at which point the Attorney General's office, despite us meeting with them and imploring them not to, and insisting that the community was able to get a better agreement than a homeless shelter, stepped in and killed the deal and told the affordable housing developer to go away. And they did. So the site was in contract. And at the last moment before they lost their deposit, the affordable housing developer, at the insistence of the Attorney General's office, backed out. Why did the Attorney General's office have anything to do with this? Because their Charities Bureau oversees church real estate, is the short answer. And the Attorney General's office did not want this process of getting a new sanctuary for the church prolonged by switching the plan to affordable housing. This is short-sighted, and many people have heard me say very colorful things about the Attorney General and her office as a result of this interference in a deal brokered by the community board to replace a homeless shelter with affordable housing. That being said, the timeline for the construction of the church is legally binding. It is a legal enforcement by the Attorney General's office. So we are here tonight. We have the developers here to answer any questions. We have spent many years working on this in the Housing, Zoning and Land Use Committee, and I think Signe and Liz can attest to that, going back to negotiations that April Tyler was leading. And the one point that I would add that was important to us that we did not mention was that the shelter will also allow pets, which seems like a small thing, but you would be surprised how many people do not want to enter the shelter system if it means giving up a pet which they consider a member of their family. It is also worth noting that unlike the Ellington or these other scattershot units or former hotels, this will be a new construction built to suit, and it will not be the substandard existing buildings that are not repaired and kept in a state of bad repair and then turned into shelters like some of the other shelters in our neighborhood. So with that background in mind, are there any questions for either the church or the developers? And are there any issues that you would like to impress the importance of to the developer should this move forward? So Lydia Garrison has her hand up. If you would like to speak in person, please raise your hand high so I can see it. I will be keeping a list. This is the most substantive item we have on the agenda tonight in terms of action items. It's LOS 1763 Amsterdam Avenue, but we are not expecting them to stay for the entire meeting. So please, if you have questions, ask them now. So Lydia and then Daria, Jane, do me a favor, accept your promotion to panelist to make this easier. And then is Edwin, yeah, and then Edwin. So Lydia, Daria, Edwin, Jane. Lydia, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Barry, thanks for that rundown. Because I was looking at some of the images of that area. I guess it was torn down with, the church was torn down or condemned within the last few years. And so this is going to be arrangement to keep the church. You gave a lot of information, so it's hard for me to absorb it. And this is just a general question in terms of affordable. What does affordable mean in that area? And so if maybe some kind of enlightenment about what we mean by that term affordable, which I understand is a difficult question really to answer. So that's about it, because Barry did cover a lot of stuff. Thank you.
The affordable number was 80% of AMI, which is income of 63,000 for a one-person household, 91,000 for a four-person. The other detail there was that if the owner seeks an Article 11 tax abatement to reduce the property taxes at the site, that AMI could go lower. However, in the absence of a guarantee on that, they are guaranteeing that at maximum it will be 80% of AMI. This is the building at 17. So as a reminder, in addition to this structure, they are going to have an existing property that they own become affordable housing.
How many units?
12, I think. Are there 12 units or 11? It's 1793.
12 units, and it will be named as April Tyler residence.
Okay, Daria, you have, or I'm sorry, wait a minute, I had an order. I called Lydia, and then Daria, and then Jane, and then Edwin, and then Pat, or Edwin, and then Jane, and Pat. Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a couple of questions. First of all, I've 1793 with 12 units of affordable housing is wonderful, but it struck me when you said 113 studios in this building and 9 2-bedrooms. How many floors will this building be?
It's 8 floors. The ground floor is the church and 7 stories above that.
Okay, and in terms of the homeless residents that'll come in, will these be homeless from just all over the city? Is there any sort of way, and I'm not even sure if that's a question for you, Mr. Vedat, but how does that work? Is there any way to get people from our community, or will they be sort of bussed in from anywhere?
Well, thank you. It's the way it works, we request from the Department of Homeless Services what the community wants. And Department of Homeless Services would like to keep the community board and the community happy. No guarantees, they're not making any guarantees, but our request was mothers with either expecting mothers or mothers with one child. This is our request. Department of Homeless Services has their own mind and their own agenda.
If I may add, the city agency likes to keep families within their own neighborhood, within their own school district, the church, or place of worship. So the city agencies like to keep families within their own neighborhood. Again, as Mujan mentioned, it's not a guarantee, but that's the preference of a city agency.
We were able, we were from an elected official perspective.
We lost you.
You're going in and out.
I'm sorry.
You were saying from an elected official perspective.
Yeah, I'm sorry. From an elected official's perspective, we were able to get a community board preference, which was a percentage of those units to, they don't like to say set asides or earmarked, but we were able to get a community in my district And I don't see any reason that you wouldn't be able to do the same thing, to work with the community board to get a certain percentage of those units as community board preference, which basically means from your immediate community.
Okay.
And Daria, I
yeah.
will add two things
Okay.
in response to your question. Hold on, Reverend Caldwell. The first thing I will add is that, as has been the case with many city agencies, the Department of Homeless Services has been much more communicative and willing to work with our community board under Mayor Adams than under his predecessor. You know, setting aside whatever happens in the media, the city agencies have been much more responsive since he became mayor. And so I think that is something that we can bring up with them. We can arrange a meeting with them and we can achieve progress on with them. So, you know, I think that that is important to note.
Okay, lastly, I just have to say this, as that being my next door neighbor. You know, there's a lot of talk about, and this is with all due respect to the developers and to the church and Honorable Mr. Cornegie, but if this is about what the community wanted, as we all know, as it's been said, I have to say it again, the community wanted affordable housing, permanent housing. And the fact that, and the Attorney General came after us, it's almost like they just like shut us up. But I feel like there's a fight left. And at least, you know, and that we're not putting up, realizing there's a very short time period, and you know, I guess you can only meet an attorney with an attorney, and nobody has talked about that. And I hate to be the one to talk about it, but I just have to put that out there. I won't go any further. Thank you very much for your for the information, but I'm so unhappy. I just don't know what to do. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
If I may
Daria,
speak.
If I may, Barry, can I respond to that?
yes.
If
Hold on, Reverend Caldwell. There was an order. There was a sequence of people I was
Okay,
calling.
so sorry.
Elder Christopher, you wanted to answer the question from Daria or the comment.
Yes, I just wanted to say the church has done everything in our power to, the Attorney General's office is not, although they say they represent the church, I can assure you they're not very happy with us because we have done everything in our power to push back. We have told them what the community wanted. We fought for affordable housing. They basically told us go sit down somewhere. You know,
And we are
and the
overrun.
reality is, and when you talk about the attorneys, here's the reality of the church. And I don't know how many of us go to church, but those of us that deal with church, and I know we have another Reverend Caldwell here that can attest to this. Churches do not have unlimited finances. So we cannot afford an unlimited battle in court, especially
Perhaps the
against the Attorney
community
General.
needs to get involved then, because you know, we're overrun, and I won't
Right.
take up any more time, but anyone who lives in this community, we're overrun with shelters, we're overrun with substance abuse facilities, we're overrun with substance abusers, and these are, and we had our fair share already, and we have new ones. Since the pandemic, it's like they've bust them in from somewhere. For some reason, they're all coming here. And now this, which is, it is an honorable project. However, for this community where we are and what's happening right now, we are like, it's getting to be Skid Row, you know, and I hate to put it that way, but it is, I am afraid with something added. And also with the animals, which are humanitarily, that's a wonderful thing. However, people that have been homeless, some, you know, everybody is raised differently. And I live on this corner, and there's already, you can barely walk down the sidewalks because of the feces on the sidewalks. So that doesn't seem like a good thing to me, to add. So I'm done. I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you so much for your time and attention and information.
Daria, if I can just say, that's a very important point. And it's a question worth asking, which is, you know, are there any plans around animal pet dropping mitigation, or, you know, the boxes with pet scooper bags and the signs that say clean up after your dog? I mean, that's something that we should probably address now rather than later.
Sure, we are conscious of that. And what we have designed is there is a yard for the people who can take their pet. And this is a new project, a new thought. So we are very careful about the what, you know, I understand. I walk in the streets myself. Our office is on First Avenue on 108th Street. So I've been a part of the community, and I walk, and you know, things happen to my shoes. We are careful about that. We are thoughtful. There would be violations placed on the people who don't adhere with the regulations. We are mindful of that. We really are. And there would be I really don't know how many pets going to be there, but I have seen, I've been in the homeless shelter ward for many years, and I have seen children crying because not only they lost their home, they've lost their best friend. And this is what we try to address, and we'll see how it works.
Okay.
Mujan, I would like to maybe interject and say it would be great if we could possibly speak with the architect and carve out a small footprint, like, I don't want to call it a dog run, but one of the amenities that's sometimes offered.
We have done that. There is a yard portion.
There's a rear yard, correct? There's an outdoor.
Right. So I want to highlight that, because a lot of times residents will use that as opposed to using, you know, the street for their pets.
Thank you.
We are mindful of that. I feel very strong about it, and I'm gonna really address that. It's let's see how it goes.
There's also a full-time building super and porter that will be responsible for cleaning as well.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Reverend Caldwell, then Edwin, then Dr. Johnson, then Tiffany.
I thank you so much, and I hope that you be kind enough to give me the same patience that you've given all these people responding on dogs. I'd like to go back to the issue of housing, affordable housing. Did you call that the AMI? And I understand somewhere where an apartment with 3 or 4 people with an annual income of 60,000. Well, I'm going to address that and say, by what means did you determine that to be low income? And is it based on the current income per capita? One, I'm not finished. Secondly, we have an issue, and the issue of the homeless is not in fact that they might be able to pay the amount, and I'm addressing this to Mr. Sanjay, not to you, Barry. I'm addressing the fact that we find most frequently that you do not accept Section 8 vouchers or people with federal subsidy or subsidy income assistance to their rent. And I'd like to know in what percent, an answer to both questions. The first one being based on what income per capita, or what was the basis of that low income decision? And secondly, how receptive will you be to accepting people with federally subsidized income for rent? And what percentage of these people will you allow in your building? Mr. Sanjay.
So, Reverend Caldwell, to reiterate your questions, the first is, how was the level of 80% AMI arrived at? And the second question is, will the affordable housing, the permanent affordable housing at 1793, accept Section 8 vouchers? Those are the two questions.
Or federally subsidized. The first question is we're
Yes.
slightly off on that. The first question is, how was it determined that low income for the smallest apartment would be $60,000 income in a family? How was that determined? How was that determined to be low income?
Reverend Caldwell, if I can just clarify something, since I was the one who said that number. This is for, there are two buildings in question.
That wasn't addressed to you, Barry, and I apologize, but that was Mr. Sanjay's daughter, was it? Or how they described this, they're gonna make the rooms a little larger, the single room, the studios, and basically the breakdown of what was determined. I want to know how these people who are building the building, not you, Barry, I want to know how they determine what the income was. Just like I would like to ask you for them to send us criteria on how they accept or reject people on the community board, but that's not the issue right now. I want the man that I'm asking the question to answer, please.
I'm very sorry if we were not clear. The shelter portion has nothing to do with the income or has nothing to do with the affordability. It is a shelter that the Department of Homeless Services will place the people in there. Okay, so it has nothing to do with affordability. What we said about affordability is that a building that I personally own 1 block away.
It's already existing.
It's
Which is
already built. It's a 30-year-old, 40-year-old building. It is already occupied, and as most people move out, the new tenants will be at 80% AMI. We chose 80% for 2 reasons. Number one, it is the threshold for, is it called LSABA?
Yes, extremely low.
Yes, it is the threshold for that. And second is that at 80%, right now we're at about 140%. At 80%, it would be able to run the building. Otherwise, anything less than that will not properly run the building. And yes, we will accept Section 8 or any other federal subsidies. It is meant to do that, and I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, and that's what I'm determining, because I, as clergy and speaking to people who are suffering this homelessness, especially in this community, are facing the changing complexion of our neighborhood. A lot of people that have Section 8 vouchers that once lived in this community can no longer come back to the community because they're saying that the landlords, and I know that you need a certain amount of money to maintain, your property and what have you. I'm not taking that away from you, but the acceptance of the Section 8 voucher, we need some guarantee with that, because we're saying that it has been rejected. As you're saying, it has been totally rejected.
Reverend, I think it's against the law, I think, to reject that.
That is, those people participating in those practices are illegal. Please report them. If you're coming across landlords who are not accepting those vouchers, please report it to your community board, your council member, whoever you trust within your community, because that is 100% illegal.
Bishop, that sounds very good, well and fair, but when you are homeless, without recourse, without resource, how much time do you have to go find a lawyer and report it to your congressman when you and your child are out in the street? Let's be reasonable. Let's be reasonable about what we're talking about.
Nonetheless, Reverend, if you become aware of a property that is not taking Section 8 vouchers, you need to report to the Human Rights Commission of New York City, which runs sting operations to find landlords and realtors as well, and address this issue. So, Edwin, you had your hand up in person.
That did not answer.
The answer is 80% of AMI for the permanent housing was arrived at because it's what qualifies for ELA financing, extremely low income housing financing. And the answer to the federal subsidies, accepting vouchers and federal subsidies is yes. The homeless shelter at 1763 Amsterdam Avenue has no income requirements because it is a homeless shelter.
I'm not asking about a homeless shelter. I'm asking about this affordable housing that he is allowing that 80% to. Is in other words, is he going to give us a percentile that he will say, I will definitely accept Section 8 vouchers?
All of it,
Mr. Sanjay.
all of it will accept Section 8 vouchers as required by law.
Exactly, it's the law, Reverend. It is the law.
So Edwin, Dr.
And don't get
Torres,
me wrong, I'm just crossing, I am being an advocate for people that speak to me about the problems they're having. So I am addressing their issues.
yes, it is a pervasive problem in this city. I'm glad we've clarified that it will be not a problem at this site, 1793 Amsterdam. Dr. Torres,
I have a question in regards to.
just speak to the mic.
I have a question in regards to what type of assessment you guys did to determine the needs of the community. We understand there were some needs for the vendors, and what they need, the need of the community. When you say 2-bedroom is the largest unit, we have families here who will benefit from larger units, from 3 and 4 bedroom. So please, enlighten us on that. If you did those assessments, I would like to see them, and so we can, see what type of methodology you use. But can you speak on the assessment that was done to build these units with 1 to 2, from the point of view of the community needs, of CB9 needs?
Dr. Torres, it's the Department of Homeless Services that assesses what should be built. And we built with that in mind. We went on our own and we did some of the apartments, 2-bedroom apartments, because the community board asked us to do. And we did. We enlarged the studios. We came from 138 to 113 because the community board asked us to do. And we would like to be good neighbors, and we will strive to become good neighbors throughout the construction and throughout the occupancy of that building. The church is there, and they are very, very mindful of the community. They've been in the community for many years.
So with that being said, the answer that I heard, no former assessment was done for CB9 to build this project.
If it was, they did not conduct it themselves.
Well, he's talking about homeless services. That's just for the whole city. They look for sites, but nothing in which CB9 was assessed on the need that CB9 has.
Other than the feedback that we gave them directly from the committee, no. No formal data-driven assessment.
So that is something that we have to think about, because in our community, we have needs. And with this project, they should be addressing those needs. 2-bedroom is great, but we also need larger units for our families.
That space accommodated, no. Oh, yeah.
All right, Dr. Johnson, you have your hand up, and then Tiffany. At one point, Jane had her hand up, but it's not up now. Dr. Johnson, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Apologize for being off camera. So I'm actually a clergy as well. I'm actually Reverend Dr. Derek Johnson. I normally don't wear my clergy hat in these community board meetings, but this is to the developers and to the fellow clergy. So I have experience working with youth aging out of foster care that I've worked with closely over the last 6 years. So I've had numerous cases where young couples that were married were in shelters. So in these kind of situations, I think it's something to consider. I don't know if it's already etched in stone in terms of the 100+ studio units, but would you consider even having 1-bedrooms where you have young couples that are married or that are trying to do life together that falls on hardship, especially if they're coming out of the foster care system, where they would have to split up and be separate, and unfortunately, people of color, have had the hardship of being institutionalized where families are split just to try to perceive an opportunity. So I think being that this is an initiative in collaboration with a church and a developer, I think you have the opportunity to do something unique and special that and work in collaboration with the Department of Homeless Services to make the case, to say that a percentage of the units can also accommodate families. Not, and it's a good gesture to support our young women who have babies and expecting, but it almost sounds like it's not welcoming to young men. And then we look at the violence and the crime. A lot of that is perpetuated by poverty and hardship. And so I think you have a lot of decent young men that want to go to college, that want to go to trade school, that really wants to do something with their life, and they need a leg up too. So I think it's something to reconsider. And there's a plethora of things that's on my mind, but for the sake of time, will you have like a social worker on site? Will there be social services provided to the residents? And the church, will they be involved, right, in this process, not just being downstairs, but will the church be involved in having some oversight and some inclusion in the well-being, the health, the wellness of the people, not necessarily trying to evangelize them, and that'd be great, but more so just speaking to the well-being of the people and being there as advocates and being able to have a say in what's happening in terms of the daily operations of the services that will be provided to the homeless individuals that are coming into that space. So
Thank you, Reverend. Reverend, the short answer is no. The church is not involved in running the shelter. The church has a church space on the ground floor, and if anyone wants to reach out to the church, that would be great. That's number one. Number two, your comments are greatly appreciated and very true, but this is addressed to Department of Homeless Services. They are, I don't know what they think about 3 or 4 bedroom apartments. And I understand you and I hear you, but this shelter, it's built for women and children. It's not meant for families. There might be families there, and that's why we put 9 2-bedroom apartments there. That's why we made the apartments, the studio apartments, and these are apartments with 3-piece bathrooms and a cooking facility. It's a kitchen. These are apartments. This is not a dormitory style shelter, which is difficult for any community to do.
If I may, Reverend, there's also 3,000 square feet of community support space for the residents. There's on-site social services, case managers, recreation area, computer labs. So there's adequate space for the residents to use and receive the support that they need within the residence.
Including job placement, including a permanent housing placement. There is a lot of services going into a homeless shelter, including 24/7 security. It is very important for us to make sure about the security.
Thanks, Dr. Johnson. I just listen. When I was in the council, we fought vehemently for young people aging out of foster care. So what you're saying resonates with me 100%. Unfortunately, the Department of Homeless Services has a priority list, and they prioritize women and children in these particular shelter systems. So you don't, as a developer, get to make the choice. As elected officials, we fight, and you should definitely bring this up with the electeds that represent your area about a demographic that's totally underserved. But in this instance, the configuration and the building was as a priority for the Department of Homeless Service was for women and children, is for women and children.
And we did have a quick question. You know, we've been talking about the size of these units. What is the size of the average studio in the 1763 building?
It's about 410, 420 square feet.
Thank you. Tiffany Khan, you've been waiting
And
patiently.
sorry, I had one quick follow. I know it's quick, but I just want to know, what is the projected sustainability of this homeless shelter? Like, how many years is it going to go on this project?
Sure. This is built to suit. So I've seen homeless shelters close because of deterioration of the building, that the buildings are deteriorated and not be able to serve anymore the people. But we are getting a 9-year lease from Department of Homeless Shelter, but I don't know of any shelters that have closed which are built to suit. So we expect this to go, and we're putting our money down, because if it's anything beside that, it's not good. So we are looking forward for this to continue for years.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tiffany, and then I have one final question, but Tiffany, go ahead.
So during the last time you all came to present, I'd asked about a deed restriction, and if you would be willing to do that to ensure that at the very least, if this is going to become a shelter, which I also strongly disagree with, we can at least have the assurance that this will remain a shelter and not in some future time become, for example, Columbia student housing. And I believe Saba, you said you would get back to me on that.
We are not able to do a deed restriction. Our lenders would not approve on that. But what I had promised your chair was that as long as we own the building, it would not be a student housing.
And will you provide that as a guarantee?
Sure, in writing, yes.
Okay. The last thing is, and I really wanted us all on this meeting to maybe take a step back and ask ourselves a question which I had raised. Sorry, let me just backtrack. For those of you who were not present during the Housing, Land Use and Zoning Committee meeting that we had last week when we discussed this, I had asked the developers, how is it possible that you cannot build affordable housing? How is building a homeless shelter more profitable? My apologies. How is building a homeless shelter more profitable than building affordable housing?
Certainly, it's not more profitable. Time-wise, we cannot work with the HPD and to get the finances necessary to build a affordable housing. Affordable housing is profitable, and it's just time consuming. You have to go for credits, which is 4% and 9%. It takes 2 years to do this and 5 years to do the other. It's a very time consuming thing, and we're willing to do it. It's we're doing in other places. So it is not a matter of profit making. It's a matter of practicality, and that's the only thing we can do.
And again, when we reference time, it is in respect to the Attorney General mandated timeline, which is what has screwed up literally everything that we worked for several years to do to make this project permanent affordable housing. That being said, we have gone from 138 studio units to 113 with 9 2-bedrooms. The studio units are larger units than proposed. There is 12 units of offsite.
Barry,
And
I don't mean to.
yeah, go ahead.
This is not a dig on the developers. I'm going to take at face value just from these few interactions that you are genuinely doing the best that you can with this crappy hand that is being dealt to all of us. I just wanted to call attention to the homelessness industrial complex. And this is the elephant in the room that everyone should be most concerned about, is why is it that it is so enormously profitable to build shelters, and we're seeing them crop up in all forms and fashion? Why is it so much more profitable to build shelters than it is to build housing, permanent affordable housing? I'm putting in the chat right now, I just put it in the chat, an article from the Wall Street Journal that came out in 2017, where it was discussed that the cost per bed, not per room or apartment, but the cost per bed was $100 per person per night. So if you have a family of 3, you're looking at $300 a night or $9,000 a month. $9,000 a month to house a family of 3 in a shelter, which we all know, even by downtown standards, is considered a luxury. So this is the thing that we should be bringing up with our elected officials. Why is there so much dithering and profiting from the poor?
May I address you, please? And I might not be politically correct, and I'm not a politician. It is not, we are not running the shelter. There are a lot of services that goes into running the shelter. We are just building it. And there is a non-for-profit which runs the shelter, and they have the case managers, they have a whole staff of, I think that there will be more than 30 or 40 people working in that shelter. So I think those are what is the money is going towards, not necessarily the housing portion of it. So, but it is certainly 100% to cities' benefit to have permanent housing rather than pay for hotel rooms at $400 a night or $300 a night. And right now, even the hotel rooms are full because of this migrant situation that we dealt with. But please understand that there is a lot of services going into these dollar signs that you see.
It also includes meals.
I understand. But, and again, I am not criticizing you or your father or what have you. This is my concern is with this, our city and our state government, and also our federal government, because
it's a federal thing, yes.
Right, there have been ample opportunities for government to do something about this crisis. You manufacture a crisis to manufacture consent on a whole host of other problematic policies that we have. So anyway, again,
I have written op-eds with regards to this.
If I could just, because we actually are in a physical space that theoretically we have to be out of by 9. As a reminder, I have given this a lot of time because I want folks to feel informed when we debate and vote on this letter of support later on the agenda. I have one substantive question, though, that I realize I've never asked, which is, does the church condominium have to pay common charges or maintenance charges once it's occupied?
The answer is yes, but we are also contributing monthly to the church from the income of the building. So that will not only cover the church condominium, it will cover a lot of other community services that they can do.
Which was part of the consideration of building that church, that residual income, the monthly residual income for, I believe it's 25 years.
Got it. Okay, thank you. That was my question. Last call for questions so that you are informed when we debate and vote on this. Yes, Annette. Oh,
I have a comment.
Can we hold comments to debate?
Sure.
I'm confused. Did he just say the landlord is going to be paying the church?
Presumably the church has some Is the way this works, the church has some interest in the residual income from the rent paid by the homeless shelter operator?
Correct.
Yeah, so they get a share of the income from the homeless shelter
Do
operator.
you know what that number is, Sabo?
Not offhand. I believe it's 3,000 a month.
It's
With-
it's somewhere in that neighborhood. I think 3,000 or 4,000, and goes up with inflation on every year. And that was made purposely so the church doesn't have to be at the mercy of anyone to pay their electric bill or to pay their water bill or to keep the doors open, because that was the problem that they had prior to us purchasing it. They were, I'm sorry, Elder, but they were on the eve of having the church foreclosed. And they had also leaks coming off the roof. They had their boiler not working. And there was a lot of things that was going on. And also they had a sanctuary for 800 people, and they didn't have 800 congregation. It's the world has changed with regards to the churches. So it was very thoughtful negotiations. Thank
Got
you.
it. Thank you.
Members does the church,
Annette, the question for this microphone again?
how many members does the church have?
That's a question for Elder Christopher, I think.
Currently,
The church has approximately about 50 members if everybody shows up on a Sunday morning.
50.
50.
All right, so that puts us at 8:30. We've taken an hour on this item, I think. I think we're all very well informed now. I will thank Elder Christopher and Mr. Cornegie and both of the Vadats for coming and answering all of our questions. I may ask that we move this to the first action item with the members' consent, but we are not yet at action items. So I have given my chair's report. Carolyn, there is a treasurer's report in the packets. Yeah?
Yes, it is.
Do you have anything to add to it?
No, there's no changes at all.
Okay, thank you. Eutha, the district
I
manager's
have to
report.
refer to my report.
Okay,
in
Eutha,
essence of time.
does anyone have any questions for either the treasurer's report or the district manager's report, both of which were included written in the packets? All right, we actually don't need to accept the reports, but I'll take that as we are ready to move on. Pat Watler Johnson, you have a WHDC report. I would ask that you keep it brief. I also acknowledge that we have a written version of it in the packet.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. I will be brief. I'm not going to repeat everything that's in the report, but I would like you to know, the community to know that there was a meeting, the board meeting that took place on Wednesday. And in that meeting, it was reported that there are going to be 2 events coming up that's going to be held at the forum where you all are now. On June 6th, there's going to be a DYCD forum for West Harlem and the surrounding communities. Also, Future Giants is involved, and it's going to have information about 20 youth organizations discussing various services and opportunities for youth for the summer. And there'll be more information about that in the near future. Also, on June 21st, there's going to be a HDFC conference also conducted at the forum, a community dialogue around HDFCs and local law 97 and other issues. There's going to be various speakers to provide information to HDFC buildings. The CBA grants is going to be announced this week. I was told before close of business tomorrow, so that should be on the website soon. There's a new website launch that's going to be coming out, and it'll include a page for the HDFC Resource Center. The Arise program has already been announced as a flyer that I was told that was sent to all the community organizations, including the CB9. The Arise flyer is on the WHDC website for more information about how young people can apply. That's it. I can't hear you, Barry. I still can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat, for the report for the WHDC. Are there any questions for Pat? All right, thank you. Yes, Tina.
The Morningside players who received funding from WHDC is now putting on a play
called, We Have to Do Something at, it's right around here, and the performances are from now until Sunday, and they received a grant.
Excellent. That was, in case you didn't hear it, Pat, she just
Yeah.
pointed out side players have a play. We Have to Do Something that's running now until Sunday, and they are a grantee of the WHDC.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tina.
Let's see, I can't hear Barry.
Is Reverend Morgan Thomas on for the UMass report? Okay, we will proceed then to Ken Miles. Ken, I'm going to enable you to talk. You're in the attendees. You can now unmute yourself. I forget if it's *6 or *9, but for the bid report, and if we can keep it as brief as possible. Ken, if you unmute, we're ready for your bid report. While we wait for Ken, Nina, will you be giving the Borough President's Office report? Nina White? I'm trying to promote you to panelist. Oh, there's Nina. Promote to panelist again. All right, Nina is joining us, presumably to give the Borough President's report. And if we can
Hi,
keep-
yes. Good evening, Chamber 9. I'm sorry. I will also be brief. I'm a little under the weather. I'm actually recovering from COVID. So I'm off camera, but I'll be brief. I know you had a lot to discuss with the last presentation, but of course, you know, we're sad to see the board members that we've lost leave, but we also welcome new voices that were also appointed. And if you have any questions, you know, of course, feel free to email our office, and I'll put my information in the chat. One thing I did just want to highlight from our office is that next week we will be having a Manhattan Empowerment Series, and that will be next week, Wednesday, May 24th, at the Lieutenant Joseph P. Kennedy Center from 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. This will be a housing workshop with NYC HPD on their Housing Connect website. As we know, I can't remember honestly if it was during the pandemic or when kind of Housing Connect revamped their website, but there were a lot of changes. A lot of people didn't get quite acclimated to the new website that was announced under Housing Connect. So we just look forward to folks coming out and really kind of learning how to navigate that website and how to apply for housing lotteries using the Housing Connect website, and how to, you know, make an account, et cetera, et cetera. So again, that's next week, Wednesday, May 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Joseph P. Kennedy Community Center at 34 West 134th Street. That was also where Palante held their till event that Chair Weinberg was a panelist at last month. And tomorrow we are also celebrating our Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month event. It will be downtown at the Manny Cantor Center. We're doing it in collaboration with newly elected Assembly Member Grace Lee. And that will be at 197 East Broadway. The event starts at 5:30. So if you or anyone, you know, are interested in attending, please come by. It's tomorrow, 5:30, a little early. And I'm sorry, one more thing I did want to announce. You all did get a copy of this letter, but our office, and of course your local council members, were very strongly aware of the fact that the Rent Guidelines Board did not list a Manhattan in-person Manhattan public hearing date for Manhattan. Manhattan is home to 2,955 rent stabilized units. That is the most rent stabilized units in New York City. And so the borough president, along with all Manhattan City Council members, did write to the Rent Guidelines Board requesting that a Manhattan in-person public hearing date is made before the final June 21st voting date. So once we hear on that, please, we will let you know. But I'll be brief. I will hop on because again, I'm trying to heal, but I did just want to briefly, get on the meeting. But there's a lot discussed today, and thank you all for having me, and I'll put all my information in the chat as well.
Thank you, Mina. I think
Feel
we have,
better.
please
Feel
feel
better.
better. I think we have one
Thank
question,
you.
and Juan, if we can make it very quick.
Okay, no problem.
Can we ask the board president to come and tell us what his criteria is to move or not appoint members of the community? I mean, it's very detrimental for somebody who expects people to vote for them to make a lot of people upset, especially really important members of the community. Is he going to come and talk to us about that? Thank you.
Well, I definitely don't have the answer for you right now, but definitely please feel free to email me and make that request. And please reach out.
Thank you, Mina, and I'm
You're
sure
welcome.
Juan, please feel better.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Tiffany and Laquita. Tiffany, on your last night as a Community Board 9 official appointed member, although you will always be a Community Board 9er, you and Laquita are giving the Elections Committee nominations report. And
Thank
if
you,
we can keep it-
Barry, and I'm glad I called Tiffany earlier. Whoops. Okay, and I called Tiffany earlier, so I'm glad to see that she is on board with us tonight. Thanks again to the committee. That's Tina, Tiffany, Annette, Ken, and Ted for all the work they've been doing. And I want to especially thank Tiffany for helping, and we were really working to talk to board members and pulling a slate together. And also thanks to Madison and Youtha, Hakil, but Madison and Youth in particular for helping us packet all of this for tonight's meeting. So in your packet, you have several documents that you can refer to. One being the brief and full description of the positions that are available, and another being the timeline as well as the elections process, and then the nominations. In terms of the timeline, May 15th, this past Monday, was the pre-deadline to submit the intent to run letters along with the 7 signatures of board members. Remember, that was to be 3 days before the May 18 meeting. We have 4 candidates in particular that met that deadline. As of yesterday, we have 2 other candidates that were added, but they must be nominated from the floor. So what I would like to do, I was going to ask Tiffany if she was going to be there to do it, but it's so great that our committee is here, Annette, when I say here, at the site. So I'm asking Annette, Tina, and Tiffany to help as we begin the process to call for nominations. As I go through the packet, verify that members who are supporting the candidates are present. And so you may have to make note, or you will have to make note of those names as we call them out. I just want to make sure I've covered everything just in reference to the nominations. I also want to thank Signe. She, from this point on, will be helping us going forward with the elections process as well. And I've been able to consult with her, and it's been fabulous. So now I'm going to move to the nominations packet. And I'll try to explain some of the things related to the timeliness of the intent to run forms as we go.
Let's
And then
also, if we can keep it moving a little faster, because we have to get out of here.
Yeah, I had to find my document. Also, even though these positions are nominated, the nominations are open to anyone from the floor who wants to nominate someone in addition to who is already on the slate. Currently, for chair, Victor Edwards. And Victor has submitted his statement on time and has presented his 7 names for nomination. So, oh goodness, I was trying to open up the packet. Does someone else have it over his names, the 7 names, so we can make sure that people are present?
I have it open. I will call the names. John Martin Green is not present, so we will need a different person. But when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative that you are nominating Victor for chair. Deirdre McIntosh Brown.
Unmute yourself. So
Affirmative.
Great. Deirdre has affirmed. Barry Weinberg, I affirm that I am nominating Victor for chair. Pat Watler Johnson.
Affirmative.
Thank you. Is anyone willing to nominate Victor in
Yes, Daria
Yes,
Hartman.
Heather Jason.
Daria Hartman. Daria and half the board are nominating Victor in behalf of John Martin. Carolyn Thompson, do you affirm?
Yes.
Carolyn affirms. Walter Alexander.
Yes.
Signe Mortensen.
Yes.
All right. All 7 have affirmed except for John Martin Green, who was substituted for by Daria Hardman and a bunch of other people. Victor, do you accept the nomination that you submitted?
Yes.
Yes. No pressure. All right, great. Are there any other nominations for chair from the floor?
No. Okay,
right.
so next, oops.
So we're moving on to first vice. I have my packet here.
Okay, the first vice chair, we have Barry Weinberg. Barry has submitted his statement and we have the 7 supporting, those supporting his candidacy. So we need to see if those persons are here.
Okay, the first person is Victor Edwards, myself. That's a yes, affirmative. For Barry Weinberg.
Yes.
For first vice chair. Second person is Deidre McIntosh Brown. Deidre.
Affirmative, I'm here.
Next person is Solomon Prophet.
Affirmative.
Okay, then we have Arelis Mahia.
Affirmative.
Edwin Torres. Sydney Mortensen
Yes.
and Shanika Wilson.
Affirmative.
There you go.
So,
Thank you.
Barry, do you accept the nomination?
I do with gratitude accept the nomination.
All those, let's see, well, what was the next thing? Is there any other nomination for first vice chair? I can't see there, but there are no hands up, so we can move on to the next position. Second vice. I'm sorry.
I have the packet open, Laquita. The Monique Harden Cordero has submitted for second vice chair. In nomination of her are Victor Edwards. Do you affirm?
Yes, I do.
Jonathan Sinigub is not present. Will someone else? Tina Lumley is standing for Jonathan Sinigub. Tina, do you nominate Monique?
Tina is on the nominating committee.
Oh, never mind. Is there anyone non-nominated?
Deirdre McIntosh, I stand for her.
Okay, Deirdre McIntosh Brown replaces Jonathan Sinigub. Barry Weinberg will replace John Martin Green. I nominate Monique. Miriam Aristi Ferrer. Do you affirm?
I don't think
Will anyone stand in place of Miriam to nominate Monique?
I'll nominate
Heather
Monique.
Jason.
Solomon Prophet stands in place of in place of Miriam. Dr. Edwin Torres. Edwin affirms. Daria Hardiman.
Sorry, yeah.
Affirmative.
Daria affirms. Joyce Adewume.
I know.
affirmed.
I know.
All right. There are 7 nominators for Monique. Who replaced Jonathan Senegal again? Deirdre. Great. Okay. Are there any other nominations?
Did we get
for-
those names? Did we get
Yes,
those
we did.
names?
I've written
Okay.
them down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jane, you have your hand up. I'm going to promote you to panelist. Please accept the promotion so you can speak.
I'm sorry, me?
No, Jane.
Jane. Oh.
Oh, do you accept the nomination?
Yeah, that's how I was waiting for the question. I do accept the nomination and thank all of you who are standing by me. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Are there any other nominees for second vice chair from the floor? If you're on Zoom, raise your hand. Hearing none, the next office to be nominated is for treasurer.
Deirdre McIntosh Brown.
Yes, Deirdre, I have her paper in front of me. I nominate Deirdre McIntosh Brown for treasurer. I, Barry Weinberg. Victor Edwards is the second nominator. Do you affirm?
I do.
Next is Dr. Derek Johnson. Dr. Johnson, do you affirm?
Affirmed.
Thank you. Pat Watler Johnson, do you affirm?
I affirm.
Thank you. Monica Dula, I do not believe is present. Is someone willing to stand and play? Carolyn Thompson volunteers to nominate.
Caldwell, affirm.
Carolyn, you're nominating?
Yes, I do.
Carolyn is nominating. Shanika Wilson, do you affirm?
Yes, I affirm.
Great. Signe Mortensen, do you affirm? Signe affirms. All right. Deirdre McIntosh Brown, do you accept the nomination for treasurer?
Gratefully, yes, I accept. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Are there any other nominations for treasurer from the floor? All right. Hearing none, we will move on to assistant treasurer.
And Barry, Carolyn has to be nominated from the floor because it came in afterwards. So someone, please nominate Carolyn from the floor.
I nominate Carolyn from the
I will
floor.
be happy
I
to.
second.
Hold on. Signe Mortensen nominates. Ted is a seconder. Who else is a seconder?
Deirdre.
Deirdre is a seconder.
I do.
Victor Edwards is the seconder.
You need more?
Dr.
Torres.
Daria.
Daria Hardiman. Okay, so
Solomon
that is
Prophet.
4, 5, 6, and Solomon Prophet is number 7. Carolyn, do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Carolyn Thompson accepts. Are there any other nominations for assistant treasurer from the floor? Hearing none, we will move on to secretary.
And
Solomon-
let me say that Solomon has to be nominated from the floor as well, even though his statement is there. Just
Barry
form
Weinberg-
someone-
Barry Weinberg nominates
I
Solomon
nominate
secretary.
I
Ted,
second.
hold on. Ted affirms. Victor, do you affirm?
Yeah.
Carolyn.
Carolyn affirms. Monique Hardin Cordero, do you affirm?
I do.
Pat Watler Johnson, do you affirm?
Dr.
Yes, I do. Hello, yes.
Okay, and Carolyn
Affirm.
Yes.
All right, and Signe affirms. Okay, that's 7 nominators. Solomon, do you accept the nomination?
I do. Thank you very much.
All right, thank
And-
you for your service.
And we need someone for assistant secretary to be nominated to the slate.
Okay, hold on a second, though. Are there any other nominees for nominations? for
sorry.
secretary from the floor?
No.
Okay, no other nominations for for secretary. Assistant secretary is unfilled. All right, Carolyn nominates Ted Kovalev.
Walter
Daria
T. Alexander
seconds that.
seconds. Walter T. Alexander seconds.
Walter.
Deirdre
Daria.
McIntosh.
Deirdre. Edwin.
Patricia
Barry.
Caldwell.
Patricia
Heather.
Caldwell.
I
All right.
affirm too. I affirm
Oh,
too,
we're-
if
we're
I
at-
can.
we're at 9. Everybody loves Ted. We're at 9. Honorable Ted Kovalev, will you continue to serve Board 9 as its assistant secretary?
Yes, however, I'm disappointed because I was under the impression that we had a person who will not be named at this point, who was
Yeah, you are
interested in
absolutely
the
correct,
position.
Ted. You are absolutely correct, but then she got cold feet and is not present. So we, could not go forward with having her name on the slate.
Okay, well, I will be delighted to serve with Solomon. I want to ensure that we can do our duty for the community.
All right, well,
Thank
we
you, Ted.
accept your service with gratitude.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you,
Thank
Ted.
you. Are there any other nominations for Assistant Secretary?
No.
Yes,
All
please.
Hearing none,
The voice of reason.
I declare nominations for the officer positions of Community Board 9 closed. We thank you, Laquita, and thank you, Tiffany, for your service to the board. If with your permission, I will now move us along in the agenda. I believe in the absence
Thank
of
you,
my,
everybody.
thank you, folks. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Laquita. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
serving
committee.
on the committee. Okay, public session, public hearing. In theory, you have 3 minutes to speak. In theory, you do not need to use all 3 of those minutes. Who do we have signed up for public session?
We have,
The only person that's there is
David
Hansel.
David Hansel.
David Hansel, you have the floor for 3 minutes.
David, you may begin now.
But David, we can't hear you.
Hello, sorry about that.
Now
Can you hear me?
you. Okay, go
Yes.
ahead.
Sorry. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody. I will try to make this brief. I just want to comment on 2 things. One, I want to comment on the liquor license at the old LaGrange beforehand, just in predecessor of what I wanted to say else. That with the current violations, I've personally been in that building, seen that the work inside the inner workings, and with those certain violations, I want to adamantly say that I wouldn't be in support of that, and I would urge other members to be. The last part I'd like to talk about is that I've been informed that I have not, as we discussed earlier, not reappointed to the board. In that being said, I don't agree, obviously, with the decision, and I think that the powers that be have not seen, because they're out of touch with actually what's going on in this community. You can see that by the record of their actual attendance of any meetings or any formal functions with us. So I want to go on record saying that. With that being said, I want to also say it's been an honor serving with everybody here. I'm not going anywhere. My door is always open. My phone will always be answered by you. And it's been an honor serving, and I look forward to working with you in other capacities in the future.
There are public member responsible.
Thank you, David.
Available House.
Thank you, David, and I look forward to continue working with you.
Thank you, Davey. Thank you for your service with us. And your
Come on
service.
to the health committee.
Yes, thank you for also your continued service to the community.
Thank you.
That concludes public session. Are there any elected officials here or their staff who have not yet spoken? No.
Please.
I don't see any. Okay, oh, wait, Marion Hernandez. Oh, boy, we actually have people. Okay. Marion, if we can keep this as brief as possible, we will email anything you want after the meeting.
I'm flattered. Okay. I will just share one event then. We have a fishing event coming up. This is open to everyone, seniors, young individuals. Fun fact, young individuals are actually more likely to get scammed than older adults. Don't tell anyone this, but it's crazy. So we're hosting a fishing event to raise awareness about phishing scams. Basically, this training session will be information session will be in collaboration with the Carter Burden Network, as well as the center at the Red Oak. So that's where the event will be actually. The center at the Red Oak. If you would like to learn what phishing scams are, how to detect one, and what to do after receiving one, then I would invite you to join us on Monday, June 5th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you would like to RSVP shoot me an email or email Assemblymember O'Donnell's general email, or you could give us a call at 212-866-3970. The budget stuff.
You can see me the flyer.
Yeah, I can definitely send that over. I don't think I have, so I will send that over. Budget stuff, obviously we're not super happy with the budget, but a lot of things were pushed. Funding for LGBT initiatives and more programs, housing clinics, including the Goddard Riverside Law Project, Palante, and I think, the arts budget was tripled from what the executive's proposal was. So that's something. But yeah, feel free to continue sending us emails, sharing events with our office as well. We could share that as well. Yeah, we have a shredding event coming up in June. We don't have the date set for that yet, but if you would like to RSVP or have more info, make sure that you email us or call us so that you get all of these updates. That is all. Thanks so much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marion, and everyone loves the spreading events. Walter, this better be way quick.
Quick question. Just wanted to put the information in the chat. I would love to have her come speak at one of our meetings, the senior issues meeting.
Excellent. Marion, if you can make a senior issues committee meeting, I know they'd love to have you, and I know it's a big concern in the senior issues committee about these scams. Next up, we have Francesco Martinez from Councilmember Abreu's office.
Hello, everyone. To be brief, I think Chair Barry kind of highlighted it, but I'll just wrap up with saying that Sean Abreu and Commissioner Tisch will be here next month to answer any questions about containerization. I know that's a big concern, but we're happy with this experiment, and we think it's going to have very good results. As far as size discrimination, we wanted to highlight that the bill, Sean's legislation is a huge step in the Civil Rights Department, and we're looking forward to Mayor Adams signing the piece legislation into law and becoming a model for anti-discrimination laws for other cities and state legislators. Next month will be a huge moment for Right to Counsel as the city gets ready to pass its $107 billion budget, and it's one of Sean's biggest fights. As far as scaffolding and derelict vehicles, there are bills that are coming up that we think will be huge to addressing those issues. And last but not least, Sean did a tour with the mayor of 10 Mile Park that's located around 155th Street. And we're looking to get huge investments to secure capital funding to fix bathrooms and playgrounds. That'll do it for me. Of course, you can reach out to me via email, call our office, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Mr. Martinez from Councilmember Abreu's office? Yes, Ted, make it very quick because the lights are turning off here.
Yes, I promise. I want to say to you that it is very important that we be looking at 125th Street situation. We have a lot of people who need to have an elevator there.
Yes.
And I know that
Ted,
you
I
guys
think we all
have been very strongly
Ted, the
on
lights are-
this, and Barry has also done this, but I want to emphasize to you that this is probably one of the most important things that's out in front of our community at this moment.
Ted, the council member, I'm sorry, Francesco, I'm just going to say the council member has been a very strong supporter of elevators at 125th Street, done a lot of work on that, and I know they will keep doing it, and we'll make sure they keep doing it. So it is a very important topic, but one that we do not have time for, and one that the council member is already very good on. I do not see any other elected.
Okay, fine. I just wanted to emphasize this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to close out public session and public hearings. Thank you to our elected officials, and thank you, David, for your public session testimony. We are going to, with the membership's consent, I would like to move the letter of support regarding 1763 Amsterdam to the top of the action items.
Yes,
and I am going to propose some friendly amendments for Signe and Liz. the first friendly amendment, which would help if I had it in front of me that I wrote. Here we go. The first friendly amendment would be that, just to clarify, that the Community Benefits Fund is to be administered by the New York Community Trust, just so that people don't think this is going into community board accounts. It is not. It is going to be administered by the New York Community Trust, which is an independent nonprofit that helps administer community benefit funds.
Accepted.
All right, the second proposed friendly amendment is to add, however, we would like to establish a minimum percentage of the shelter units that would be used to provide shelter for families or expecting mothers who were formerly housed in Manhattan Community District 9.
Okay.
Is that a friendly amendment?
Yeah.
Yes, accepted.
Yeah.
All right. So any other debate on this item, which is a letter to the Department of Homeless Services supporting the 1763 application for a lease of a building to be built to be a homeless shelter? As a very, very brief recap, 6 years ago, there was a presentation of 138 studio units at the shelter. We didn't like it. We negotiated permanent affordable housing. The Attorney General killed it. They came back to us and we proposed again permanent affordable housing if there was a rezoning. They agreed to it. Then it was realized that the rezoning would exceed the mandated timeframe by the Attorney General. So instead, they are giving us 9 2-bedrooms out. They're making the studio units larger, and we're getting a building of 12 units that will become permanent affordable housing, perhaps deeper than 80% if they get a Article 11 tax abatement, and a $250,000 community benefit fund for the surrounding area to be administered by the New York Community Trust on the advisement of the community board. That's the recap, folks. Is there any debate on this issue?
Hearing none, unanimous consent?
Well, member Edwards, our first Vice Chair Edwards has requested unanimous consent. It has been seconded by Annette Robinson. Yes, so is anyone opposed to doing this by unanimous consent? Please speak now.
I would like to abstain.
I would like to abstain as well.
Hold on, Pat Watler Johnson and member Hardeman have both requested abstentions be noted. That does not affect the unanimous consent. Are there any other? Dr. Torres is abstaining.
Heather Jason is abstaining.
We got that, thank you. Lydia Garrison, you have your hand up.
Yes, I'd like to abstain as well.
Okay,
Patricia Caldwell abstain.
okay. Hearing no opposition, the motion passes by unanimous consent.
I'm abstaining as well, sorry.
Noted, thank you, Tiffany. All right, wow, okay. Great, we will move right along then. So ratification of letter of support regarding the Osborne Association. Victor, can you refresh very briefly, just recap what this is?
Yes, this is support for their application to juvenile justice system for their strategy to support children exposed to violence, either directly or family members incarcerated, to help them along.
Okay, great. Are there questions for First Vice Chair Edwards?
I move for unanimous consent.
Moved by Laquita Henry, seconded by Reverend Caldwell. Is anyone opposed to this letter of support? Going once, going twice. All right, the next item on the agenda is a letter of support regarding 611 West 112th Street, docket number LPC 23088973, certificate of appropriateness, which comes out of the Landmark Preservation and Parks Committee. Heather Jason, would you give us a brief recap of this? Very brief, because the lights are off.
The applicant is proposing to install a cornice, windows, barrier-free access ramp, 2 front entrance doors, removing the existing roll-down gate. We The issue that we have is the second door that's being built. It's not, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, you can.
It's not balanced. It makes the entrance unbalanced, and I guess, but I guess we are in favor of the other improvements. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, the letter is a very well-written letter, exceptionally well-written, one of the best that we've had on a landmarks proposal. Are there any questions about it? It notes our objection to the second door that's being added and proposed to change.
Unanimous consent.
Joyce Adewume has requested unanimous consent, seconded by Reverend Caldwell. Is there any objection to passing this letter of support with request for modifications to the LPC? Going once.
Ted would abstain.
Ted Kovalev abstains. Going twice. The motion passes by unanimous consent. The next item on the agenda is a reso, which is a May 2023 addendum to the May 2017 resolution regarding the tenant interim lease program. Signe and Liz, where is it?
It's here. Do you need it?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay, so 2017, we passed a reso for halting the transfer of Till buildings and maintaining a moratorium of HBD halting this. In 2017, that was passed. We have found that this is an issue that has become more and more dire with our Till buildings and now the MCB program. So we have amended or addendumed this reso to be stronger, to include some of the buildings we're concerned about that have been vacated and still not HDFCs or low-income ownership, our last bastion of low-income ownership. We have addendumed that with this reso here 6 years later. So we're asking for your support on this. Anything you want to add, Barry?
We're calling for at least $100 million in FY24 dedicated capital funds to actually make this happen without attaching massive amounts of debt to the buildings.
Correct.
Is there any questions, debate, or discussion on this resolution?
Yes, Ted.
Yes, Ted.
Situation, WHDC is also working on this project. And I would like to see that the monies that WHDC has not be used if there are monies from the city, state, or feds.
So that sounds like it's not a question about this particular resolution, but an issue regarding the broader question of Till. I'm going to ask that we take that up in the Housing, Zoning, and Land Use Committee and raise it with our WHDC board designees. Are there any other comments, questions? For Second Vice Chair, Monique Martin Cordero has requested unanimous consent. Does she have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Annette Robinson. Is there any objection to passing this reso? Speak now. Going once. Going twice. All right, the reso passes with unanimous consent. The next item is a letter of support regarding City College's application to the Department of Housing and Urban Development at the federal level for an HSI Research Center of Excellence funding opportunity. The letter is in your packet. They want money from the feds. We're supporting them. Signe, Liz, any other details to add?
No, but they're a great partner. We've worked with them for a long time, and if they can get grant money to give us an excellence center here, that would be great.
All right. Are there any questions or debate? Member Dunn has requested unanimous consent, seconded by Member Lumley.
Second. Ted.
Thirded by Ted. Is anyone opposed to passing this letter of support? Going once, going twice. The letter of support passes by unanimous consent.
Barry, did you skip
No, you
one?
forgot urging Columbia
Yes,
University.
thank you.
That's next one.
This is a reso regarding urging Columbia University to provide affordable housing and new projects. Signe and Liz.
Yeah, so this is, it was kind of started with the Maranamé project, and MHCC came to us and saying, why is this not affordable housing? Not student housing, not faculty housing. We want Columbia to pay attention and create more affordable housing for our neighbors. We deserve it, we need it, and it is only right. So we drafted this and let's see, that's all I want to say about it. I think who would this go to? This would go to Columbia in particular.
Yep, and maybe the Dormitory Authority.
Well, do we know who in Columbia that it goes to that?
It'll go to the president, and then we'll CC the real estate people and the government and community affairs.
Motion to approve by unanimous.
The Nets move for unanimous consent. Member Lumley is seconded. Anyone opposed to this reso?
No.
Speak now. Going once, going twice. Passes by unanimous consent. I'm going to request the body's consent to tackle our corporate change liquor license first. This is Highlar Restaurant Corp. at 3533 Broadway, better known as Caridad. It is a restaurant. One of the partners is retiring. Member Robinson requests unanimous consent to approve this corporate change. By Ted Kovalev, is anyone opposed to being in favor of this corporate change support to the SLA? Going once.
Heather Jason
I'd like to
abstains.
abstain, Patricia.
Heather and
Caldwell.
Reverend Caldwell abstain. Going twice, 3 times. All right, it passes by unanimous consent. The next items I would like us to tackle are the renewals. We have Picante, Bono Trattoria Restaurant, Romcargio LLC, Plowshares Coffee LLC. Actually, let's handle 12 through 18 first. Bono Trattoria, Romcargio LLC, Plowshares Coffee, Peaceful BSB Restaurant Corp, Taqueria San Pedro, Manhattanville Market, which is that building next to this, and the Cotton Club. Are there
Unanimous consent.
Unanimous consent, second Deirdre.
All right, Laquita moved unanimous consent. Deirdre seconded. Is anyone opposed to this?
I have Manhattanville Market, I just have to be present, not entitled.
All right, Signy is disclosing that she is present, not entitled to
They serve
vote
my coffee.
on Manhattanville Market because she has a financial interest in the coffee they serve. We're not got yet. All right, any other abstentions or anything?
12 to 18.
Opposed, going once, going
Heather
twice,
Jason abstains.
noted.
I did
All right.
admit I abstained, Barry.
Reverend Caldwell abstains, noted. All right, that's items 10 and 12 through 18. The next 2 items I'd like to tackle are 8 and 9. Little Street Lounge LLC, 126 Hamilton Place, which is currently where the cloakroom was. It used to be the Hog's Head Tavern or something. Number 9 is Presto Fresh Mexican Grill Corp., which is on 125th Street between Amsterdam and Morningside. Any comments, debate, questions?
Unanimous.
Member Juan?
These are all liquor licenses. I abstain.
Picante, not the best
No,
neighbor.
we haven't gotten to Picante yet, Juan.
Okay, I want to make sure that we talk about that.
Yes, that's why I've separated it. Member Thompson has requested unanimous consent. Is there a second? Seconded by Tina Lumley. All those in favor, or anyone opposed to Little Street Lounge and Presto Fresh Mexican Grill Corp?
Those are all liquor licenses. I abstain.
Reverend Caldwell abstains. Heather
Jason abstains.
abstains. Anyone opposed? Going once, going twice. All right. We are left with items 7 and 11. I would request the membership's consent to deal with 11 first. 11 is Picante. This was raised by tenants of the building above Picante that there are issues with noise. Several of us went to Picante afterwards to express this issue to the owner, who has assured us that he does not believe it is him, but he will make sure that he reaches out to the tenants directly, gives them a number to call if it is too loud, and make sure that noise does not occur. Edwin, you wanted to speak on Picante, as did Juan. Okay, Juan, you have the floor.
Yes, if a business is not being friendly to their neighbors, they should not have these privileges. That's what I'm saying.
All right, is there any other debate, question, or discussion?
Are they asking for renewal of their license or something?
Yes, they are.
May I comment, please?
Dr. Torres and then Pat Watler Johnson.
Okay.
I would just say that the entire community board, we have to have a, what I call come to Jesus moment. CB9 is one of the highest noise complaints in Manhattan. We don't have as many bars and restaurants as other locations. So we need to look at this more vigorously because we have the tenants of that building. The lady, she came here, I believe, 1 or 2 meetings before. Her husband had a stroke. He's in the hospital right now. Noise is a pollution and affects health. We shouldn't allow anyone to come into our community and then we just give them a flying color. Yes, we accept you here. So if Hell's Kitchen is able to deal with this, we should be able to deal with this up here.
Okay.
How about no?
I had to respond. All right. Wait, Carolyn has a comment.
I understand what he's saying, but you cannot stop any business from coming in your community. Whether you like it or not, we do not have the highest noise rate. I do know that for a fact. However, if a business comes in, we don't feel it's right, we can object to it, but we cannot stop.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of what we're figuring out here is whether we're objecting or not objecting.
Right, but I'm saying he has to, Pat is gonna speak on the other part of it, and his application has already been approved.
Well, let's get to taking a position on this. Pat, or no, who was next? Pat Waller?
I was
Johnson?
next. Yeah. Hi. Thank you. And Carolyn basically said what I was going to say, but I just wanted, there was a question in the chat where someone was asking about there was no vote. This, we didn't find out that the license had been renewed until we were doing research for the meeting. Every time there's a license that comes to the meeting, we do research to find out, and that's when we found that it had already been renewed. So I just wanted to echo what Carolyn said, that we don't always have a say, but I think it's important that regardless that we make our voices heard.
All right. Noted. In the interest of making our voices heard, given that there is an indicated no vote, I'm going to call the roll on this. For Picante's renewal, Joyce Adume, how do you vote? Walter Alexander, how do you vote?
No.
Sorry, I was mute. No.
I would object to a unanimous no, so we're going to call the roll. Walter Alexander votes no. Jane Arundel Johnson. Jane. All right, Miriam. Oh, she's excused. Deirdre. Deirdre McIntosh Brown.
Barry, did you get my no?
No, I did not. Okay, Joyce votes no. Walter votes no. Jane, we have not heard from yet. Miriam is excused. Deirdre, how do you vote? All right, she's driving. Reverend Caldwell, how do you vote?
On this occasion, because of the vigorous complaints I've heard, I have to vote in no.
Chris Caldwell votes no. Dan Cohen, how do you vote?
Dan Cohen votes no.
Juan Colmenares, how do you vote?
Barry, did you get that?
I got it, Dan. Juan, how do you vote?
I said no.
Juan votes no. Carlton Davis, how do you vote? No. Carlton Davis votes no. Ms. Dunn, how do you vote? No. Ms. Dunn votes no. Victor, how do you vote?
No.
Victor votes no. Sean Farrow, how do you vote?
No.
You vote Ms. Fetzko, how do you? Hugo Torres Fetzko. All right, Lydia Garrison, how do you vote?
Can I abstain?
Lydia abstains. David Hansel, how do you vote?
Absolutely not.
David votes no. Daria, how do you vote?
I abstain.
Daria abstains. Monique Hardin Cordero, how do you vote?
No.
Monique votes no. Laquita Henry, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Laquita abstains. Alex Hunter. Solomon Prophet, how do you vote? Solomon.
Abstain.
Solomon abstains. Carolina Ramirez, how do you vote? Patricia Ramos, how do you vote? Annette Robinson, Annette votes no. Reverend Morgan Thomas? Jonathan Thomas. Carolyn Thompson, how do you vote? You abstain, okay. Edwin Torres, how do you vote? Edwin votes no. Liz Whitetakis, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Liz abstains. Barry Weinberg votes yes. Shanika Wilson.
You didn't call Heather Jason. Heather Jason votes no.
Oh, I didn't
And
call half.
I think-
Sorry. Yeah. Hold on. Second, there was another sheet of paper that I missed. Heather Jason, how do you vote?
No.
Heather votes no. Dr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Deirdre, you have a vote?
Abstain, thank you.
Deirdre abstains. Dr. Johnson abstains. Pat Watler Johnson, how do you vote?
I abstain.
All right, Tiffany Khan, how do you vote?
No.
Tiffany votes no. Ted Kovalev, how do you vote?
No.
Ted votes no. Tina Lumley, how do you vote? No. Aurelius Mejia, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Aurelius abstains. Ken Miles, how do you vote? We gotta let him unmute. Ken? Well, yeah, what is it, star 9 or star 6? All right, anyway, we'll come back to Ken. Signy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Signy votes yes. Michael Palma. All right, we did the other side. Shanika Wilson, you are our final vote. How do you vote?
No.
Shanika votes no. That's 2 yeses to a bunch of noes and a bunch of abstentions. Can we total that while I move on to the final item? But the license renewal fails. All right, the last item on the action items is the resolution regarding New Range LLC's liquor license application. I believe there is debate and discussion on this.
If I may just very briefly, we just wanted to say thank you very much on behalf of ourselves and Child's Memorial Church for your trust and confidence, and on behalf of my father as well. We didn't have a chance to just quickly say thank you to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
We would like to continue to be in contact with you about, the process and the construction site, and then once it's completed, the operations. So we will be in touch.
Of course.
It does not end tonight.
No, my phone will always be open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Torres.
So in regards to the grade, this establishment, as it stands right now, it has open violations for electrical work. That was done illegally in this premise when it was open, and it's still open to violate. I believe that the community board should never be approving any license for any establishment that has a safety hazard. Secondly, there's no certificate of occupancy. I'm not sure if any of you, some of you guys were in the April meeting. The current owners, who want to distance themselves from the previous owners, it has come to our attention that one of the previous owners is still participating, and some of the previous actors are still participating in this current venture. So at this establishment, there's no CFO. The CFO will tell you how many people can safely be in this space. The owner said they were going to send documents to the community board. They never did. So they send it today. Secondly, alteration was done to this landmark building back in 2013. By the high part, this building is supposed to have 3 businesses, not 2. 1631 disappeared from this corner. Yes, you can say that it looks better. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Landmark buildings, they are landmark for a reason. They preserve aesthetics of our community. That was changed, that never came before the landmark committee, and it still has a landmark violation. So I implore all of our community board members to vote this down, because we have to not allow bad members to come into our community and destroy it.
So the letter that we have from Edwin, which we were considering, is Dear CB9 EC. I don't know if this went out to everyone. It did. Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, okay. I think it's just not in the packet then. So it says, I'm writing this letter to express my strong opposition to the approval liquor license for New Grange LLC, which is currently under consideration for reasons I outlined below. It lists the DOB violations for legal electrical work. It lists the certificate of occupancy for the premises issue and landmark violations and the previous owner's operation in question of the New Grange. Are there any questions about this, which is opposing the SLA's approval of a liquor license? So if you vote for this, you're asking the SLA to not give a liquor license to this applicant.
Unanimous consent.
Reverend Caldwell and Tina Lumley have requested
I
and seconded.
second that. Okay.
Is there any debate, question, discussion on this? So if you vote yes for Edwin's thing, you're asking SLA to not.
Their apartments.
No, it's a yes on our sheet.
Oh,
This is liquor license, new application, reso. Oh, that's a reso.
That's a reso.
Got
okay.
it. Okay.
All right, going once for opposition to Edwin's letter. Going twice. All right, Edwin's letter passes. We are recommending against the liquor license at that site. Let it be known that we do vote against liquor licenses sometimes. All right, there are no further action items. Is there any old business?
Chair, I just have
Two more.
Monique,
Chair, sorry. I had a comment earlier and I'll be brief. We had that vigorous discussion around that development that's happening on 147th, and they stated that they'll continue engaging in dialogue with us. And I guess when June comes, and I believe we're supposed to be trying to schedule another meeting with the developers of the
145.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, sitting here listening, we have something on 147th, we have something on 145th, or a confluence of all these shelters or supportive housing developments within such a small confine. So I guess when we have that discussion in June, I guess we just really want to push them and just be mindful, because this is so much happening within such a short space, and the resources, I'm very concerned about the resources or lack thereof in this community with so many people or families being present at this particular time. So that was just my comment.
Duly noted. I will contrast the 7-year engagement by the developer with us to make this project better versus the attempts by Health and Hospitals Corporation and BRC to sneak this through in the middle of the night as fast as possible.
There's also the hotel.
Yeah.
And the
All right.
hotels, you're right.
So new business. Are there any other old business?
That's right.
Are we done with?
We're done with the voting sheets. You may turn them in. I have one item of new business. I would like the board's input on whether or not we should pursue a neighborhood support team from the mayor's office to address quality of life issues in our neighborhood, including.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
Absolutely.
Emphatically, yes.
unanimous consent.
Second.
Yes.
Yes, with a footnote, no dog and pony shows, please.
No, please.
Is there any objection? Speak now. Going once,
No objection.
going twice. All right, I will write an expression of interest to the mayor's office for an NST. If you know of any block associations be interested in participating, please direct them to Youtha and we will incorporate them into the expression of interest. Any other
Right,
new-
the tennis associations that are, yes. I'll get Yael and Yair.
He has a piece of this.
Lights
Okay.
are on.
New business, new business.
Is our chair Barry's birthday? I just want everyone to know.
Hello.
That's not necessary.
Yeah, hi. I just want to be brief. I know that Senator Clear had made reference to it before, but I would like to ask if it has not been done so already, that the board acknowledges the life and legacy of Mr. Bill Perkins, former city council person,
Yes.
former state senator, and the contributions that he made to our community. And that's it. I'd just like to ask if the board could do that.
Acknowledged. All right.
Barry.
Unanimous consent.
Thank you.
Barry, Reverend Morgan Thomas's appointment to UMass is up.
We voted on that last week.
We voted on that,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was voted on.
All right,
Okay.
so Monique Hardin Cordero has moved to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Unanimous consent.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned at 9:30.
Good night.
Have a wonderful and blessed night, everyone.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night,
Thank
welcome.
Good night, everyone, and
Good night.
congratulations, everyone who was nominated and everything else.
Thank you. God bless you all.
God bless you, sis.
Candidates night.
Guido, when is candidates night?
The 31st?
It's on the schedule.
She's
It's on
not.
the schedule.
You're muted. You're muted.
31st?
You're muted.
All right, we're gonna call it, folks. Laquita, we'll email it out to everybody.
Yeah, it's in the schedule that she gave out.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know I was muted. It's Wednesday, May 31st. And 6:30, we'll have the location forthcoming. All candidates must be present or they forfeit their position.
Yes, very important to note. All right, thanks, folks. Good night.